Hey guys, so this is going to be entitled Why I Love Holocaust Deniers. So, being that I've said before I'm a free speech absolutist, with the caveat that that means that people are going to have to be held accountable for that free speech, right? And just to review, if you're a white guy and you go into a black neighborhood and you call somebody the N-word and you get your ass kicked, well, that's the consequence for your free speech, right? If you're a Holocaust denier, you should have the right to be a Holocaust, either a revisionist or a complete denier. You should have the right to do that, and your right to be a Holocaust denier should not be infringed upon, except the natural consequences that go with that. So if you work for a company where the major shareholders are Jews and they find out that you're posting, bullshit Holocaust revisionism, if it's a corporation that's owned by an individual or has certain shareholders and they deem that they don't want somebody representing their company that has those types of views, you should be able to say whatever you want, but again, you're going to have to be held accountable for the natural consequences of that, of those beliefs. So, every action has an equal or opposite reaction, and it's only fair that, if you're going to have the freedom to say what you want, others have the freedom to respond accordingly to what you're saying. It's not freedom without consequence. Part of freedom is, having to factor in and be okay with the consequences for your actions, right? So, also, why I love Holocaust deniers is that it lets me really see who's a piece of shit, because to deny a historical event lets me know everything I need to know about that person. That they're a complete piece of shit, that they shouldn't be taken seriously, and that this is somebody who has no respect for history, no respect for the truth. And what's funny to me is that a lot of the far right, white nationalists, whatever, they love Hitler and they love the Nazis, which is fine. You can like and love whoever you want, but if you love Hitler and you love the Nazis, then shouldn't you respect their fastidious documentation as to what they did? I mean, the reason why we know about the Holocaust is because it was documented so thoroughly. I mean, the Nazis took punctilious notes and documentation of all the people that they killed. They were very organized and thorough, and paid great attention to detail. This was not, some spurious. These aren't some, spurious historical accounts of the Holocaust. These were well documented. And so, if you respect Hitler and you respect the Nazis, then shouldn't you respect their fastidious detail and their documentation of what they did? I mean, wouldn't that be being logically consistent? But see, you guys aren't logically consistent. You take what conforms to your narrative and you omit or deny anything that goes against it, because you're not of the truth. You are trying to push an agenda, just like also the pro-Israel people are trying to push a narrative. They do the same thing. You guys are two feathers of the same bird. You guys are two sides of the same coin. That's what you morons don't realize, is that everything that you accuse them of, and I'm not saying, a lot of times you're right about what you accuse them of. Not always, but a lot of times you are, because I'm just trying to be an umpire here. I'm just trying to call balls and strikes. But guess what? A strike down the middle for you is still going to be a strike down the middle for them. That's just being fair. And you're criticizing them for basically hiding the ball and omitting everything that goes against their narrative, which a lot of times they do, but you guys do the same thing. So, again, it's low IQ individuals who deny the Holocaust that only discredit them and only make the pro-Israel side stronger, because I can just, point to any of the people like that you guys love, the Ken O'Keefes, the Jake Shields, the Dan Bilzerians, like all your heroes have absolutely no credibility in any legitimate scholarly sense, and they're just followed by intellectual neophytes and little dilettantes, like people that watch them and make comments and just want to blame the Jews for all their problems because they're not where they want to be in life. So, keep on doing it. That's why I hope, and I support your right to say whatever you want, but I also support your right to deal with the consequences that come with that. Mr. Kenny KO, who calls for, in subliminal ways, violent revolution against the Jews. Well, guess what? If you get a knock at your door, Kenny KO, that's your free speech. Like I said, freedom is not freedom without consequence. Freedom is being able to do what you want to do, knowing that there's a consequence to everything. That's the law of the universe. So, keep on saying it, keep on spewing it. Don't be afraid to do it, and stand on business. So when you deny the Holocaust, or when you salute Hitler, I'm sure a lot of you other guys love Sneeko. So Sneeko wants to say, "Oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm 12% Ashkenazi Jew. I respect Jewish people. I respect Judaism. I just don't like the government of Israel." Okay, but then you go and you do the Heil Hitler salute with your buddies to the Kanye West song at the club. That's not logically consistent. Somebody that's not anti-Semitic wouldn't do that. Somebody that is anti-Semitic would, and then laughs about it and does it in public, even though they're, quote unquote, a YouTube public figure. So it's just low IQ behavior, and but it's, again, there's the court of public opinion, and then there's the court of scholarly opinion, and you have no credibility when you start denying the Holocaust, and you just show your cards and give yourself away. So I just hope you guys keep doing it, because you're burying yourselves. Thanks.